Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome to the NPTEL course on Remote Sensing and GIS for Rural Development. This is week 7, lecture 2. In the first 2 lectures of this week, we are looking at Google Earth Pro, an introduction, so that you can use it for extracting data points and ground control points, GCPs, for your georeferencing. In the last class, we looked at the left side of Google Earth panel, wherein we added some layers, removed some default layers which can consume memory and internet. And then we looked at how zooming in and zooming out can change the date of the imagery. Now we'll be looking more focusedly on the top of the toolbar, which gives us more access and power for analysis. I hope you had time to download the version and install it. If there's any questions on the installation and could not be done, please put it in the forum. However, it is very simple to do, and a lot of support is there from Google itself. So now we will go back to the tools in Google Earth Pro. I'm going to share my screen. I'll reopen it again, my Google Earth Pro. Okay. Yes, it's open now. Now you could see that the Google Earth Pro screen has come up, and we start from where we stopped last time at the village. We'll go to view, reset, tilt. Let's start from the top now. So left hand side, I hope we covered most of it. Most of the basics have been covered. And the bottom part where it says Google Earth, the trademark, and then this circle thing you see is saying that now it's loaded. But when you zoom in and zoom out, now you could see it change, which means it is updating the layers. So you have to wait for it. So it's kind of like buffering, and then it tells you, is it still getting the data, or where is it located at? Imagery date is given. And then you can also click add. It says like from where the data is available for this particular location. Historical imagery from 1985, which is pretty good. And then you have your imagery date. This current imagery, what is the date? And then you have the lat longs, and then the elevation profile. So you could see that the elevation doesn't change much across the village. But if you go to Western Ghats, for example, yeah, so we have this Mano node. You could see how the elevation changes drastically. So you have 6,000 feet, and then here it is 5,000 feet, and then it can go up to 6,500, right? So there's a big 1,000 feet down, whereas in Etherey it was only 216, and it didn't change much, maybe 1 feet, 2 feet up, down, etc. Okay. So the bottom part, again, it's now, you can see this downloading the data, now it's installed. And then the last one is eye altitude. So from at what altitude am I looking at the image? So if you're flying on a flight, you would expect the same vision at 9,000 feet or 8,500 feet as explained here. So when you fly, they will say 30,000 feet we are flying, 10,000 feet we are flying. So that is the altitude from ground zero. And so that from, if 9,000 feet, if you look at down along this Etrai village, you will see this image. The size of the parcels and imagery, the pixels and the image data changes drastically when you go up and down. So for example, when you come down and view, you'll see bigger particles, and that is what you can see here now. So it was initially 8,500. I zoomed in, now it is 3,000 feet. I can zoom in more. You have to, again, this thing I don't understand, but you have to tilt it a lot. So bear with me. And then you can zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, right? You can see it's 958 feet, and then 500 feet, and then you can zoom in as much. So this is pretty interesting in terms of where you have the location and data available, right? And it gives you tremendous knowledge about what is happening in a course of time. Okay, so let's say this is the village, and this is a lot of houses being built, urbanization we can call, but it's not urban, but building. Okay, concrete roads, cement roads, etc. What we will look at it is in this section, the altitude and how it changes, and then how you can add points. So these are points that you could add on the layer and then export it to GIS as a shapefile or a KMZ or KMZ. The KML and KMZ files are kind of default file types from Google Earth: keyhole, map L, and then MZ. So you can have, for example, I'm going to mark the school, and then this is a school location. So I could say that I can take a point. When you click the point, it will just randomly place it in the center of the screen. Initially, I was also very difficult finding it to change the location, but it was as easy as if you can move this box, you can move this box also. So let's say this is at a school. So I'm going to type ETT, then you have to click here, ETTARI school. The lat long is given, style color. You could choose for the label and the icon. The icon is this one. It's already taken as yellow, which is okay. And you could also select different types. For example, this could be a school. You can import your own styles, add custom icon, which is your images that you can take, like a water droplet I have used in the past. But let me do the school here. Okay. When I say okay, and I say color, label size. So at a school, label size is given. View is where do you need to view it, center view or altitude, climb to the ground. These are kind of advanced, don't need to push it in. So now you can see that the places has been stored in my places, right? So for example, I'm here, I'm just going to a location in out of the world in Australia. Okay, so I have 4 location points. I've clicked, it comes to this the Murray-Darling Basin. But now I want to go back to Etray or but each time zooming in, zooming out, instead of that, you can have these points. So the points can directly take you to, just double click. It zooms out, goes to that location, flies in and zooms in. The beauty here is it looks as if you are flying because the visualization is done like that. It's not like just cut and then you enter in your tray. So it zooms out like takeoff and then it flies. You can see through how it flies and then it goes in. The other beauty of this is it's not only in the land, but also the data is available on the oceans and seas. So all the water bodies are being mapped, not only the inland water bodies, but all the water bodies, because again, the satellite is covering the global part. What it can do is when you go into the oceans and seas, the best data for that part will come up. For example, this is the coral reef between India and Sri Lanka, right? And there's a lot of damage to this because of pollution, a lot of fishing, and then activities, global warming also. So Ram Setu, this is the one, and then you could see that how this has been populated over time. Some imagery is not as close. You can see that it doesn't go as much in detail as in this one, right? And then it's like a bridge, they say, because it goes ups and down, and then there's a sand dune. So people used to get stuck in those when they try to swim across during tension times. But yeah, so this is Dhanushkodi, and then this is the Sri Lankan part where they were connected initially, kind of, if you look at the coral reefs and stuff. So as I said, both in land and in water, there is data available. So you'll have a full global picture of the planet. And you have also the Arctic zones, Arctic and Antarctic. Okay. So North and South poles are also taken very clearly. And you can see like the Greenland and other aspects are also taken. So if you do too much of spinning and don't know how to recenter it back, don't worry, you can just double click on either of it. It goes to the center, and then you can have more access to the data. So Greenland is shown. Let's go back to the village. The boundaries are being input by a source. We don't know which source it is. Not all metadata is shared. Only the satellite imagery is shared for now. That is important. And the labels and names, as I said, the sources are not given. However, they are more accurate, more or less accurate. Okay. So we created a point, and then let's say we want to create a polygon for it, right? The village. Okay, so I'm going to create a polygon for the housings points of the village. So what I did is I clicked on the new polygon. So the first template is, if you don't want to see the panels because it is taking some space, real estate, we call them in viewing the image, you can click this or click it back, comes up. The first point is we did the point file where we picked a location, let's say the school, and then map the school, which is good. Now we're going to map the urban development or the housing development in the village, which is a polygon. It's an area, right? And then the last will be the roads. So let's say I'm going to click the polygon and call it at array housing. Say it's okay, and then we start clicking. Suppose I click without saving it, you can, it's okay. Just right click on the shapefile kind of thing on Google Earth, go to properties, it starts to edit by itself. Okay, so now as soon as you open it and then say properties, it edits. So now I'm going to make the file. I hope you understand that there is a lot of regulations in even land using in villages, because not all land can be converted to urban settlements or any type of settlements, because they still need to preserve the villages in India. If everything gets overdeveloped, then there's a big strain on the few food producers and water accessibility, etc., etc. Suppose you did it wrong, it's okay, just press the backspace. You can see that if I'm pressing the backspace, it goes out. Okay, and then you could also do a just draw, keep on drawing, like just hold on to the left key the pointer and then click on doing it. Okay. Now we have connected it. The polygon is done. You say okay and see it's closed, right? As I said, if you want to edit it again, go to properties, style and color, width is, let's say, red. Okay, and then custom is 3. Okay, now you see the boundary, much more visible, right? Okay, so this is how you make a polygon out of the location. In certain aspects, you also note that the lengths and breadths are same, which you can use for georeferencing. For example, if you know there is a cricket field, let's say Chepa, you know that exactly the pitch is 22 yards. Same if you go to a stadium and you know the running track. The running track has same dimensions. You cannot change it. It's not like 100 meters, 500 meters, etc. It is a constant track because it is done for noting the time and speed and accuracy. So those can also be used to understand the distortion of the image. The image has been distorted. Good. So we have created a polygon. The next is lines, add paths, which is a line or a polyline. So I'm going to mark the roads, especially the inner roads of the basin of the parcel we have, because the outer roads are more for the buses and stuff, whereas the inner roads were done for the people. For example, these are tar roads, however, these are cement roads. So now you could see that we can mark one cement road is enough. So I'm going to add, let's say, and then as I said, as we did for the other part, we can also drag and then do, let's say, array inner road style color, say it's brown, it's okay, and we said okay. Okay, so as I said, anytime you want to change, you can easily change. Go to properties, style, color needs to be thicker. I think the red one you can see, but the green one, I'm not able to see it. So let's say make it 5. Say okay. So now you could see it better. I would double check with the color also. Let's say let's do black or something. Okay, now you could see it, right? So you have added a shapefile kind of version in Google Earth Pro, which is your boundaries and a location and a road path. If you want to edit, you can go here to the left panel and edit it. And always you can re-edit and put what you want in terms of view, style, color, measurements, etc., etc. You can convert the units also here if you want to measure the units. All probable measuring schema has been done, so you can use anything. Okay, so these are the dominant left-hand tools that you can see on the top of the Google Earth Pro. Now we're going to jump to some advanced, which is may not be needed. So now this is add image overlay. As we had done in the past, when we did the image, some people have taken a photograph and then added it. This is where they add it. So you can say click image, and then where do you want to click? You can click a point and then upload it from your data image. Add a link, add web image, or add local image. Add local image will go to your folders, and then you can pick an image and put it in. Okay, view, altitude, refresh, location, all are same as different. But again, we are not going to do that. But it does come handy. When does an image come handy? Is when you take an image of a crop, for example, and then you want to show that how the crop is growing. We can do it. Let's say, for example, TNAU Agri Cultural Field. Agriculture University, Tamil Nadu Agri. Okay, and let's try to see how much of imagery has been put. Okay, so let it load. See, now it's loading. You can see it's loading, and there it is. So you can see a lot of images popping up. And these images are very important in Tamil Nadu Agri because they give an understanding of what the crops they're growing, those kind of things. So this is Tamil Nadu Agri University. So you can see that if I click here, you can see a department's image, department where it is. So this is where you could also add your part of imagery, right? So these are the growing fields, agricultural fields that they grow for plot level assessments and those kind of things. Okay, then you have your hostels, etc., etc. Yeah. So these are very helpful if you want to add, for example, an image of a crop. We'll be doing that very focusedly when we do the Bhuvan Nabard website. But for now, you could know that you could go and pick a location and then see if there is imagery on the fields and stuff. So these are fields, these are agricultural fields that you can take. So for example, there's an imagery someone has added, the government school, but it is their personal image taken from somewhere else. This is not Eterai, but he says that I am from Eterai government school, which is good. But again, as I said, these images can be misleading. He has taken an image from Tanjavur, but put it in Tiruchirappalli, which is two different districts. So you cannot have that as an authentic image. Okay. So that is where this one comes. And then the last one is to, if you want to record a tour. For example, you are zooming in, zooming out, and you want people to see it as a presentation. So now it is recording. Okay, you can say stop recording. What I'm talking can also be recorded. And then you zoom in and say, for example, let's do it. And it's recording now. So now you can see the timer going on. You can say, okay, this is the Etrai, the village of my ancestral home. My father went here, all these things you can say. And then you can say that I'm zooming into the transportation area, the school, the grandfather's house, all these things. So now I could stop and it's been recorded. You can save it. Okay, you can save it. Now I'm going to play it. See, I'm not moving the mouse, but it is moving by itself because I recorded it. And you remember that I went down and said, this is my road. So that's where it's going. And then it is going down to the grandfather's place. Okay. You can trash it. You can save it if you want. Let's for say safety, we can say this tour is being saved. So for example, you want to show the village profile to a collector. You can quickly take a tour like this, download it, and then send them as a video, which is self-explanatory, and to any government official. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK. It gets stored here in your My Places. When you open it, you can do it. If you want to restore it again in your folders, you can save place as, and then a tour. You can do it, the locations, everything. Okay, so it goes back to your folder. Good. So now we have looked into these profiles. Now this is the part where I said you have to close this so that the other tools open up. So now other tools have opened up. I've closed the video tool. Now most important is where, as I said, students may lose their time. This is one of them. Okay, so you see the planet. Now if I click it, be amused that I can go to Earth. So this is Earth. From Earth, I can go to the sky, Mars, or Moon. So one planet is there, Mars. One satellite is there, which is the Moon, and the sky. So you can just spend a lot of time just looking at the sky and Mars. So now the Mars is loading. Let's go to a planet first. So this is built on the imagery taken by satellites and the rovers. Like for example, so this is the same thing like an Earth, but now you're in Mars. You can go in let me turn on the, so here you could see that different layers have come up. These are the rovers, which mean where the US sent the robotics vehicles, and then it went in and searched for life on Earth, on Mars. Again, they are searching mostly for life form, plants, water, everything, so that they can do agriculture in Mars and then try to build a house in Mars. I'm always going to be saying that for that funds and money, we can still save the planet Earth, which definitely needs a lot of money and stuff, funds to make sure that everyone gets sustainable development, rural development, etc. So here you could see high resolution images of NASA and other parts. So these are very high resolution images. It's getting loaded still. You can see it's spinning, and you have a lot of galleries and images, etc. You can also do a terrain analysis of how it jumps and shifts. But let's not waste too much time on this because this is not part of the course. But as I said, these are craters on the Mars. So the people may get, students may get intrigued on how this is done and why we have so much images and parts. So the rovers, the satellites are always monitoring this. So these are the high resolutions. Maybe they thought this was like a dried up river, and so they wanted to study more, and these kind of things are there. So we have the Phoenix lander. Okay, the Phoenix lander landed here. So and then you have the rovers. The rovers landed here. You can see that how it's picking up. And the you can also do a live Mars. You look at the left hand side, what you can see, because satellites are always monitoring it, so you can always see it. Okay, enough of Mars. Now let's go back to the sky. So this is the sky above the Earth, where you can see the stars, constellations, the galaxies from a far away angle. So you can see how observatories, sky, all these terminologies can be sent. So these are the galaxies that if you want to see, you can go in and see in detail. It takes a lot of memory and internet. So just make sure that you have a good bandwidth when you do this. Again, so just how beautiful. These are the satellite telescopes that are taking image of the sky, and much bigger planets and suns than ours. So it's just taking the other galaxies, etc. So there's also a tour that has been done. For example, that like we did the tour for Eterai, you can do a tour for the sky. Good. Now the last part is the moon. So I'm going to click the moon, and you could see that it is zooming into the moon. And then you could see similarly like where the moon rovers landed and the research was going on, the craters, etc. So this tool, be very careful. Don't use it unless and otherwise you need it. I just had to give a 2-minute spiel on it so that people don't know what it is and click and then say, oh, why is my Earth turning red? Or why is the planet turning brown? Okay, or black like here. Okay, so this is a tool. You can always come back to Earth by clicking it and click Earth. Welcome back to Earth. Now, initially I took a plane from Eterai to Tanjavur back and forth, or even to Australia back and forth. Then we took a rocket to Mars and Moon. Now we are back to Earth. Okay, so let's click Eterai. Now all our selected features are again back. So let this go in, and I'm going to do 2 more tools which are very important. Go to view, go to reset, tilt. So one of the most important is the measurement tool. So this is quickly done. For example, this is a scale. You can do a line, path, polygon, circle, 3D polygon. For us, the 3 important are line, path, and polygon, and circle also is important. For example, let's do a line. I'm going to measure this road length. So from here I click, and then from here I click. That's it. So 2 points. What is the length? It is map length is 0.3 kilometers or meters, 129 meters, ground length, head, fine. So this is a quick way of measuring the distance between, let's say this is the school, yeah, this is actually the school and this is the house. So they have to walk 120 meters every day up and down, which is good, right? So then you can do a path. Let's say this path is not accessible. So you have to go like this, come around, go like this, and then go inside, come around, go to this route, up, down, and you're in school. So now you see that you can do a path, a perimeter, and then that is 400 meters length. So this also you can do quickly and then save. If you want to save the path, you can do the path and then it goes as a path. Click the ruler again. Then you can do a polygon. Let's say I want to measure the size of the school. So I'm just going to click the boundary of the polygon. You could see that it doesn't come as a space as a road. It's not a line, it's a polygon, so it's always closing the loop. Now it says closed and it is. Perimeter is 340 meters and the area is 0.01 square kilometers. You can also do it as hectares, square meters, whatever is the unit you want. Then you can quickly note it down. Okay. The last one is circle. So you can click and then enlarge. So this is the circumference of radius of influence, those kind of things. For example, and then you clear. So whenever you want to restart again, you can clear. So for example, I want to do this circle. So let's say center of the school as a center of the circle. Then you go out. So left click and then move the mouse out, it will go out. So now you could see that the influence of the school is, you can say, let's say this is the influence of the school, the radius is 200 meters. So within 200 meters, how many houses are there? Now you can physically count, or you can count what percentage is housing and percentage is land. So if you just leave it, okay, just going to leave it. So you can just leave it and see that almost 60% is agriculture and 40% is housing in this 100 or 200 meter radius. And these kids can come here, which is of ease. The kids which are staying far away have to take a cycle, bus, or something to come. Good. So then the 3D path, 3D polygon, not needed for our part, so I'll leave it. So this is email. If you want email this location, the screenshot, you can click OK and email it to yourself or to send someone. You can email the view, etc. But the easiest way is also you can click on print. You can print a image map of this. See the print, it takes a little couple of seconds. Let's say it took 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So this image can be downloaded. Let's say test image is the title. If you want the title, or we know that it is Etarai village. Okay, so that is the name that will come up here. The legend is what are the tools that what are the markings that there are in the map, and you can adjust the map to center it and all those stuff. Once you're happy, you can print it or save as a PDF. And save as a PDF, I'm going to put it in my GIS course. Let's say Etarai image. Okay, you can save. Depending on the resolution, it takes time. If you had a high resolution, I'll show you how it is. Then you'll have a bigger time to take. So it is going to take some time. It is done now. So now it says map options, page setup. You can click how you want to print it. Map options, entire map, whatever you want. If you don't want a title, you can take the title off. So it goes off. I'll put it back in. And then save as PDF. Okay, so all these are there. If you want to print it, you can print it to your printer. We did save PDF, so it opened like this. Let me open this just for our sake. Once it opens, I will share the. You see, so now I'm sharing the image as a PDF, so you can see that beautifully the image has come. Now you can go into your report, your thesis, whatever it is. It can easily go in. Okay. So now the last and the most important part. Okay, if you want to cancel, you cancel. Now it comes back to the normal. This is an important button which can take you to Google Maps. If you click it, it just automatically takes you to Google Map. Let it upload. The same location, but now opens in Google Map, where you can do directions and like a Google Map that you use for booking Ola, Uber, or something. So that is the map that it comes up, which is needed for making some distance calculations, etc. So let's go back to our Google Earth Pro. Yes, we are there. So this one is view in Google Maps and then view in Google Earth on web. It's the same thing, but on the web version. It takes a long time, so I'm not going to do it. The most important tool I would say is this clock tool, which we will spend some time here. So if you click the clock tool, what happens is automatically the date from which the image is available comes up. You remember that in the bottom, you can see in the bottom, it tells that historic image from 1985 we have. So if I zoom out, you may get better image also. Okay. So now the block doesn't come up, but let's go back to array. So now 1985 is the image that we can get, which is pretty amazing, given that more than 40 years of data we can get approximately. Yeah. So this type of image can come. Let's go to 1985 and see how this village performed. As I said, it is done. So you can see the circle is done, which means the resolution is not good. Those days, satellites were not as high resolution as we have now. But you can zoom out and see, okay, some part is still land. There was not much construction happening. Okay. And then when you come here, you can have a play button. Okay. It's not going to play. It's not like a play button that plays like an animation, but what it does is it goes to the next available image. So now you could see this boundary that we created for the village. Okay, still 80% is not being occupied as houses at 2010. Okay, so 1985 we saw a lot of brown. I think there's not much houses, but then 2010 within 25 years, you could see that a lot of houses are coming up. And then 2012, a lot of clearing, all the green color is gone, trees are gone. 2013, this part is picking up some trees, some houses are bringing back the vegetation. 2014, let's pull it to 2017 and then just wait for it. Yeah. So now you could see that full constructions has happened. So this is how you could map the boundaries of a village and how it has expanded uncontrollably. This is very important for your rural development activities also. For example, I said houses, hospitals, health PHCs, primary health care centers, Anganwadis for the small kids. If they don't have it and they have a big village which is expanding, they better have more facilities. Okay. And the latest one we have is 2022, March 2022. There's a lot of cloud cover, so we can ignore it. Okay. So some images are taken out of the cloud cover. And if I zoom into this part, you can see this part, a lot of agriculture, right? And then if I do 1985, you can still see brown. Okay. So yeah, this part. You can see here that's not much agriculture, right? Maybe it is shrubs, barren land. There's barren land a lot in this area, I can confirm. But then as and when technology increase, the green revolution and access to water, etc., these fields, look at this is not agriculture, right? So but now you could see that they have been plowed and then converted to agricultural patches. See the boundaries, you can see clear boundaries, right? Those were not available in the past. So now they have leveled it, and then they created these boundaries where agriculture can be practiced. So this is very important tool in Earth Pro, because you cannot download multiple images in GIS and then wait for an understanding to happen. Whereas here now, you know, okay, 2020, I can see clear agriculture. 2015, no agriculture. So what was the image in 2015? It comes here. Okay, Maxar Technologies. So you can zoom in Landsat. Mostly they'll use Landsat imagery. This is not agriculture at all. But now you have good agriculture activities. So the idea is to get this image, Maxar Technologies again, and then do some crop mapping, which will give you the crop yield, water demand, and other aspects, right? Okay, good. So now we've had 2 lecture courses on Google Earth Pro. I hope you will use it extensively because it's free open source tool. It is a beautiful tool to quickly get satellite data that you can use. I can take a screenshot of this or download this image, which can readily sit into GIS because this already has a spatial location data embedded in it. So this data can go seamlessly into QGIS as an image, and you can work with it. We will look at all these in more detail at an advanced level. I will see you in the next class where we will look at some ground control points from these Google Earth Pro imagery. Thank you.